not a world history discussion. This is a world geography discussion and a little bit about my time overseas in China. But when we do our world history discussion in the very next video, it'll be the fourth and final river valley civilization. That is the Yellow River at Haikou Falls, a couple hundred miles north of Xi'an. And Xi'an is going to be very central to this chapter. Here's a Chinese province map. So Xi'an is the capital of Shaanxi province. And then you've got Beijing up here. You got Qingdao on the coast and Shandong. You got Shanghai here. You got Hong Kong down here, and Guangzhou and Guangdong province. But Shaanxi is where Xi'an is, and that's kind of where all these ancient Chinese civilizations from 4,000 years ago that we'll be talking about in World History Chapter 5 are. And then you had Sangshi-do, not too far from Chengdu in Sichuan province. And Sichuan's, of course, famous for its delicious food, although in my opinion, way too spicy. I don't like spicy food, but I love non-spicy twice-cooked pork, Huiguo Rou, which is from Sichuan. I'll show you some pictures later. Now, when I lived in China, I was nowhere near this historical part. I was way down here in Yunnan province. Yunnan means south of the clouds, because you got the Yangtze River Valley from Tibet to Sichuan and eventually out to Shanghai. And it's beautiful in there, but there's a lot of clouds during the winter. But when you're down in Yunnan, you're more in Southeast Asia's climate. Laos is here. Actually, no, that's Myanmar here. And Laos is here. And Thailand's down here. It doesn't border on China, but it's pretty close. So you have dry winters and rainy summers. And I was in a little town called Dali. Kunming's the capital of Yunnan. Dali is over here. And I taught English there from February of 2011 to June of 2012. And I loved biking this area right here, very close to the Myanmar border, very close to Tibet, called the Nuzhang Valley. Salween River, the three parallel rivers, one of which is the Yangtze River. And that's Tiger Leap and Gorge up in here. But giving you some China geography, I'm going to show you on some modern maps just how big China really is. That's Liaoyang, the eastern Zhou capital. We're going to get to that later. There's Xi'an, which is where most of ancient China is. And that's just showing that Xi'an is pretty far southwest of Beijing. Good almost 700 miles as the crow flies, just kind of getting you oriented about how big China is. And this is Xi'an going down to Chengdu. So this is the Yellow River Valley up in here, and this is the Yangtze Valley down in here. We'll mostly be talking about the Yellow Valley in ancient China, but then the Yangtze gets included too, and when the Qin Empire puts the whole country together, it unites the Yellow River Valley in the north with the Yangtze Valley in the south. That's not until Chapter 8, though. Chapter 5 is mostly going to be about this region. There'll be a little bit about here, but not much. That's just showing that it's a pretty long way from Xi'an down to Chengdu, over 500 miles. And then from Chengdu to where I lived, which is Dali, Yunnan, that is another 650 miles because the capital of Yunnan is Kunming. So this is the Yangtze Valley up here, and Tiger Leap and Gorge is north of Lijiang up in here. That's on the Yangtze River. And I lived in Dali on the shores of Lake Erhai and the Tangshan Mountains. And then this is the Mekong or Lancangjiang over here. Baoshan's a pretty cool place. Railly's a really wild border town. I love Yunnan province. It's completely different from the China we'll be studying. This is my favorite part of Yunnan, the Nuzhang Valley and Liakou area. And so there it is. How far is it from the region we'll be studying? Xi'an down to where I lived, Liakou and Dali, over 1,300 miles southwest. So basically, I love to say, oh, China's got the longest continuous history in the world. I promise it's coming up in the next few videos. But look at the geography. This is the part of China that has 4,000 years worth of history. And maybe a little bit in here to a lesser extent. But down here, this was always the land between the empires. And if you look at the map, there's Tibet. This was Mauryan Empire back in the day. So it's almost as close to the Mauryans as it is to like the Han Chinese, which was in here. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm going to do one more geography video before I get into history and show you a few places I lived, but that's next.